I'm going to attempt to knit a $2,300 jumper inspired by Loewe. Hi, I'm Claire, and I just love to knit. So the other day I was browsing through Net-a-Porter for some inspiration. That website always has a lot of beautiful clothes that inspires me. And I came upon this beautiful Loewe jumper. It is a loose-fitting, loose-gauge mohair jumper. It's oversized, but it's so cute. It feels like spring, it's cozy, and it's got this beautiful anagram on the front. And I really wanted to make something similar. I started digging through my stash to find a mohair that I think would give it a kind of a similar feel to do a loose gauge. But I couldn't find anything that I liked. As I was pondering it, knitting on my dark yellow jumper, I suddenly realized I'm already making a mohair springy colored jumper, so why not use this as the jumping off point to make my Loewe jumper? Woo, duh. So this one that I'm knitting now, it is a design by Marzena Kolaczek. It is the Telopea Sweater. I received the pattern from Marzena after I test knit it for her last year, and it's just a very simple, boxy, romantic mohair top. And after you do the boxy design and the puff sleeves, you embroider little Telopea flowers on there. Therefore it's called the Telopea jumper. And I thought, as I was knitting last night, the epiphany came to me. Instead of embroidering flowers on this jumper, why don't I make the anagram? I had a closer look at the Loewe jumper. It's really just an I-cord. You shape it on the jumper and then stitch it on. Easy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a Telopea as the base shape for the jumper. I'm going to make an I-cord and then design an anagram of my own and then sew it onto the front of the jumper. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm so excited. And last night as I was watching TV, I've already started so much of this jumper. This is the front and that's the back. It's a very clever design Marzena has made. What we do is do a provisional cast on here on each of the shoulders, work the front piece, work the right front piece, join it together, cast on a few more stitches and put it on a holder once the armhole is done. Then I pick up from the provisional stitch on both sides, cast on a few more and start knitting the back. See how it's completely seamless. How clever is that? And so easy to do. I think I'm going to steal this method for many other jumpers I want to make in the future. And the color, oh my god, the color. Look at this yarn. It's fluffy like a baby duck. I just cannot stop petting this yarn. It reminds me when I was little, we had little baby ducks and chicks in our backyard. And this is exactly what it looks like. And I just can't stop petting it. The yarn is from woolly yarn from Latvia. It is 44% mohair, 30% alpaca, and 20% polyamide. And I'm holding a double to make this jumper. Can't wait to share the process with you. If you have seen this in the background of my video, this is a little Lego portrait my son made of me. He added some pimples for extra effect. Thanks, son. So I joined the body of the Telopea jumper yesterday and it's looking fantastic. Look. So the neckline's done and now I'm doing the main part of the body in the round all the way to the hem, and I'm going to do it slightly cropped to finish just below my waist, maybe around the belly button. And then I'll finish the neckline, do the sleeves, and then we'll do the I-cord logo anagram. Yay! Trying it on the first time after joining the armholes. Let's see what the length is. My waist is right there. I guess with the centimeter of I-cord, it'll sit just on my waist. My belly button is all the way down here. And this is a high-waisted pair of shorts and there's still a big gap there. I think I'm going to make it a little bit longer so there's room for the anagram as well. Otherwise, yeah, it's a bit short. So I don't want the anagram up here. It needs to be about from here to here. So yeah, definitely let's make it maybe to the top of this waistband. That will be 4 centimeters. So I'll make it another 4 centimeters longer and we'll try it on again. My talented friend's daughter Alessia makes these beautiful ceramic mugs by hand. So make sure you check her out. Last night I finished the hem of the sweater and I've also finished the neckline. Here it is here. The neckline is a 3-stitch I-cord bind off, and same with the hem. It's also a 3-stitch I-cord bind off. However, on the last row we do a knit front and back, which doubled the number of stitches for cast off, which created this beautiful flouncy kind of hem. It is just beautiful. I think this flouncy hem is what makes a jumper unique. I made this a little bit longer than the pattern. Marzena says 19 centimeters from armhole to hem. I have made it 23. So it's 23 centimeters from armhole to hem. So it's not as cropped, but it's still pretty cropped. 23 would just sit on my belly button. And now I have started making a 3-stitch I-cord, which I will then use as the anagram. I will use this to make the anagram on my anagram telopea. I think that's what I'll call it, anagram telopea. I'm really looking forward to see how this turns out. After playing around with my I-cord position on the jumper for the last 20 minutes, my thought process went through quite a bit of a 180. I tried to do the C anagram as I had planned, and I tried to place on the jumper. It didn't look really good, it just looked like a big loop. And then I tried to draw it on my iPad, and I try and draw it upside down. And yeah, as you can see, my penmanship is not amazing. But yeah, the 4 C's together, it kind of just looks like 4 half circles. It didn't have the luxury feel the L in the Loewe anagram has. I made an executive decision. I'm just going to do the L. I think the L looks a lot nicer. It's a bit more luxury. The lettering just looks a bit more symmetrical, and there's more loops to use with it. It just looks so much nicer. I've mapped the L out on my jumper, and I think that looks great. So I'm going to do the 4 L's and just take inspiration from Loewe. To make sure my anagrams are centered and symmetrical, I took some red sewing thread, and created some basting lines on the jumper. So firstly, I found the center point from the neck down, and I found a center point width-wise as well. Then I used my sewing needle and a bit of nylon red thread, and I created a grid. This will help me to make sure the L is placed right in the middle, and it will also help me to make sure it's completely symmetrical. And of course, if you want to see how I thread my needle within 2 seconds, check out my other video. So I'm going to pin this down and then create 3 more I-cords, and then we will sew them down. Here's a close-up of the basting. So I use a red thread to create a grid around the center line of my jumper. This will help me to place the L's, the 4 L's more symmetrically. I hope that's enough room. It should be because I measured it. And I have now done 1 lettering, and I really like how it looks. So I've pinned it all down. I'm going to make 3 more I-cords and then start sewing them on. Last night I finished making the 3 I-cords ready to make the anagrams. I waited till this morning to do filming and placement because I was waiting for some better lighting. So last night in front of the TV, I started working on one of the sleeves here. It fits perfectly. I'm so happy with it. So with the red thread that I have put on yesterday as a grid line, it's going to be really helpful when I'm placing the anagrams. So I have already started trying to place them on, just loosely to double check how it looks overall. And I think it looks pretty good. There's a good distance between the collar and the top letter, and between the hem and the bottom letter. it does look in the middle. It's pretty proportional. It doesn't look, the anagram don't look too big, doesn't look overwhelming, but it's definitely still a focal point. The eye cords look a little bit too long, so I'm going to have to trim them before I sew them on. But what I'm going to do now is sew on the first L, use that as a guide, and then I will work on the other 3. So let's get to it. I've decided I'm going to use this clear thread to do my sewing. The reason is this nylon thread is really easy to unpick if I make a mistake. If I use mohair, it's very sticky, and I know that I may have to go back and forth a little bit with this one if the positioning is not quite right. So this nylon thread, you won't be able to see it when I'm sewing. It's really nice and strong, and it won't stick if I try to unpick it. So this is what I'm going to do. It's taking me quite a long time to sew the anagram on, so I thought I'd walk around and show you this gecko who's died on our window. He's kind of stuck there because it's in a spot that we cannot reach. I finished my first anagram and it looks pretty great. Ta-da! There it is. So now I'm going to start working on the other 3. Initially I was using a type of whip stitch starting here, and actually it doesn't look very good. So when I got to around here, I just did a very simple snake method. I think that was so much quicker and looks just as neat and just as secure because I'm rubbing my finger over it and it doesn't budge at all. So I'm going to use the simple snake method for the next one. This step here is going to be pretty crucial because I'm going to measure the size of this L and make sure it matches with the size of this L here. So I've got 10 centimeters to the bottom of that loop-de-loop. Okay, how does that look? It looks pretty good in camera. In real life it's really hard to see, but in camera, yeah, that looks good. I'm ready to do the second L now. Now when I was sewing the first anagram, the nylon thread keeps coming out of the eye of the needle because it is so thin and slippery. So I have now tied a little knot, you can see. Tied a little knot on the end of it so it stays put. Because the jumper is a very loose gauge, it's not going to get caught. It's not like fabric. If this was fabric, it may not work because the knot will get caught on the fabric, but with knits, it's fine. I have finished sewing on my 4 anagrams. I'm still talking to the camera. They're far from symmetrical. Is it too obvious? Let's try it on. I know the hem is supposed to be frilly and big, but this is really sticking out, isn't it? I think the L's are okay. I don't hate it. This one definitely has a much smaller curve. They're not very symmetrical. Do I need to redo them? I don't think so. I'm going to finish the sleeves and then rethink the hem. I'm not sure. I'm not loving this extra frill at the moment. It's just a little bit too much. Worst comes to worst, I'll change the hem to a ribbing or a smaller eye cord bind off. Or maybe I block it first and see if it drops. Also the neckline, I don't know if you saw when I was putting it on before, I had to really wiggle my big heading and I haven't even closed up the eye cord. So when I do close it up, it's going to be even smaller than my head. It's definitely not going to fit in. So I may have to redo the neckline as well. I'll bring it to Mum's. She'll have lots of opinions around it. I just went over to Mum's for a fit check. She is the real expert in knitting because she's been knitting in China since she was a kid. Everyone in China knits, and she's also upskilled when she lived in Japan for a few years. Plus, she's a tailor, and she lives 80 meters away. So I just walked over there, had a fit check with Mum, and her comment was better than I expected. She said it looks fine, looks cute. She said this one looks like the odd one out, so I'll just redo this one. Yeah, the loop is a bit too big and this curve here is a bit small. So I'll just redo this one. And then she said regarding the hem, it does look like it kicks a lot and looks a bit exaggerated, but give it an iron first. If it still doesn't work, then I'll redo the hem. But I definitely need to redo the neckline for my big noggin. But I'm going to fix the L first, maybe finish the sleeve, finish one sleeve because it's kind of really hard to maneuver with the yarn still attached to it. So today I'm going to fix the L and finish the sleeve. I cannot focus on one project and I've already started on another one. So I am making a crochet basket because I just don't have enough yarn baskets apparently. So I'm using a lot of my scraps and I've already started on the base. This is a Virtual Yarns 2-ply Hebridean. This one's from Japan. I think my mom's had it for like 50 years. Not 50 years, maybe at least 30 though. So I don't know what it is. I think it's just pure wool. We've got, I can't remember what this is and can't remember what that is, but I bought it to make a skirt. Some more Hebridean. These two I haven't touched at all. They're both worsted. And I bought them to make my Espace Tricot skirt. So I must have used one of them a little bit. Fiber spades, I think. I tried to make a top and gave up halfway. That's all that's left. Got a little bit of Jameson and Smith. Another one of Mum's Japanese yarn from 30 years ago. And a couple more Jameson Smith. So I thought I'll hook them together to create a yarn basket in a grey-yellow gradient. Because I never use yellow or green, so I don't know why I have so many, and I guess that's why they are kind of in my random stash basket. So yeah, if I use them to make a scrap basket, at least it'll be useful. And this is my inspiration here. This is just something from Daiso, and it's so useful. I've got 2 of them, so I think I want another one that's similar. And that's what it's going to be. Just finished my anagram Telopea. So excited. So now I'm going to block it. And to block it, I have something really cool. I just went and bought the Strucket. So it's just a normal bucket, but it has a colander in there for soaking. So you can put it in, fill it up with water for soaking. Once it's finished soaking, you can attach it to the edge there. So it attaches to the edge, and then it's got a drainer to drain the water. And then I can squeeze the jumper in here without having it out of shape. I can just squeeze the water out. I think it's going to make life so much easier. So I'm going to give it a try. So here is the anagram Telopea sweater that I have just finished. It's still a very hot day, so I tried it on for you earlier to take a quick video, and then I had to take it off because it is, Brisbane is hot. I used a woolly yarn mohair alpaca blend. It is so soft. It's lace weight, and I held 2 strands. I used Marzena Kolaczek's Telopea sweater pattern. The only change I made was instead of embroidering Telopea flowers on the front, I made the Loewe anagram. It is 4 L's, upside down mirror image to create this beautiful anagram pattern. I tried my best to make it look like the original, but no, it's not. It's not that similar, but you know, I think it still looks good. When Mum comes over later, as she surely will every day, she will give give it her criticism, and if she hates it, she can help me figure out how to make it look nicer. But yeah, I really like it. This pattern is beautifully written, it's clear, it's easy to knit. Basically, we do provisional cast on each shoulder, do the back panel up to the armhole, do the front panel up to the armhole, join it in the round, do the full body, and then there's a little frill hem down the bottom. That is just increasing every single stitch. So you double the amount of stitches and then immediately finish it with a I-cord cast off. So it gives it this beautiful petally frill hem, which is so cute. When I initially tried it on, I was a little bit worried because the back was kicking out a lot. It looked like too much of an A-line for me. But I contacted Marzena. She said, give it a wash and block first and it'll settle down, which is what I did, and it did settle down. It looks a lot better now. Another thing that I love about this jumper is this huge cuff. I've never seen another jumper with this kind of cuff design before, but I love it. It's just so romantic, feminine, easy to make, and just adds a little bit of a nice finish to the sleeves. With the neckline, I redid the I-cord cast off. The sizing from the pattern was a little bit too small for my head, and I was really struggling to put it over my head. I just picked up 4 more stitches on each side and redid the I-cord, and it's much better now. I can easily fit it over my big head. But overall, I just love this jumper. It's Loewe inspired, so it looks $1,000 or two, and I think it's going to be quite a conversation point when I wear it out. And this color, you know, I never wear yellow, but this one, I think it just works. I'm so happy. I still have quite a bit left, so maybe I'll make a beanie. Probably not wear it at the same time, but I think I'll make a beanie out of this as well. I almost forgot to talk about my little scrap yarn basket. I crocheted this while I was in the middle of knitting my Telopea sweater. It's a bunch of scrap yarns that are green. I never used green really, so I just thought, why not use it to make a basket? Haven't weaved in the end yet, but yeah, it's, oh, there's the other handle. It's easy to use, isn't it? Cool. It's the perfect shape and size. It carries a good project worth of yarn, and I've got handles, and I can fold down the sides so it sits nicely as a basket. Perfect. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come and join me again next week because I have already cast on another project. So if you want to know what it is, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and each week I'll try and bring you a little vlog on something that I have made. See you then.
Making me hate you, probably think it's painful, but really I'm grateful. I think I've seen this before. This is the part where you say you want me to. I say I love you, then you go act a fool. That's how the story goes, just wanna let you know. No need to sugarcoat it. It's getting old, there's not much to uphold. Almost like legal goals. No need to sugarcoat it. I can't be the one. Hey, yeah.